Welcome to the first ever BWBL Fall League Draft. Here we have 7 captains sitting down trying to select which player they want on their team to have the best team for the Fall Bowl. The draft order is as follows: Mike White, Kyle Fedor, Rob Hess, Steve Owazani, Greg Chaya, Andy Peck, and Kevin Sickle. We are now waiting on Mike White to make his first selection. He now has 3 minutes on the clock. Mike White is now up to the podium. With his first selection, he selects Tom Hannon, aka the podcaster, right now, with his first selection for the draft. Kyle Fedor is now on the clock. Kyle Fedor selects Alan Grula, number 2. Never seen Alan Grula play. He did our lights for us. We thank him for that. Rob Hess is now on the clock. He has 3 minutes. So let's see who he selects. The draft is going pretty quickly. Who does he take? Can't wait to see it. Damian Williams. Oh, we have an issue here. Rob Hess takes Mark Bellis at number 3. He was also a potential number 1 pick. However, Mike White selected myself instead. Don't know why, but Steve Ozani needs a little more time. Right now we're on the clock for 3 minutes, so let's wait and see what goes on here. In the meantime, we'll have some silence. Are you ready? All right. Wait, hold on. Go ahead. Steve Owazani is up to the podium and selects Alex Fushalo, or Fellatio, as Kyle Fedor just walked by and said. Um, Greg Chaya. Greg Chaya is on the board. He has 3 minutes. We're waiting on Greg Chaya, so he is on the board. So while we have the dead time right now, Kevin Sickles' team, bases loaded, went through the gauntlet of teams with first defeating Saturday Crush. No, they didn't. Never mind. They beat the Vipers. I'm sorry. They beat the Vipers, the 3 seed. Then the following week, they took on Bad Meets Evil. Took care of them in 2 games. And then this past Sunday, they defeated the Backdoor Bandits, who were I would say, a huge favorite in the series, and they defeated them in 3 games. It was pretty. How do I put this? Bad to watch. Greg Chaya, his pick is in. He took Jessica Seppi. Andy Peck took Steve Dotzel. That is not a surprise. However, we'll see what he does. Kevin Sickle is on the clock. Kevin Sickle's probably going to go with a pitcher here. I'm going to say he's going Jake Lukacic. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's going with Timmy McGraw. He's going Hank Hunsiger. Wow. That is a blast from the past. Mr. Yellow Bat himself, Hank Hunsiger. Kevin is again on the clock as we going in reverse order. So who will Kevin go with in the second round? That is. No, he's not. It goes backwards. Sorry for the interruption by Matt Morgan. He does not know how a snake draft works. It's the fairest way, Matt. Um, Andy Peck is contemplating his second pick. Damian Williams going to Kevin Sickles' team. That is not a surprise. Oh, Peck is going with a Saturday Crush member. Shocker. I wish we would get away from the picking guys on your own team, but, I'm waiting to see where Bobby Loftus Jr. are going to go. We're in the second round here. And with the 10th pick of the 2013 Fall Ball Draft, Bob Loftus Sr. goes ahead of his son. That makes Bob Loftus Sr. a top 10 player, not a top 12. a top 10. Now it's on Steve Owazani, the captain of the Vipers. He already has Alex Fushilo, Mr. MVP of the playoffs. We are waiting on Steve. Steve takes forever. So after we congratulated bases loaded, there have been many teams this year that improved themselves. Vipers taking the 3 seed. Bandits, as expected, to be a 2 seed. Bad Meets Evil was also expected to be a top seed based on the pitching. PJ's window started out 1-5, I believe, in the season. Came all the way back. Probably lost one or two more regular season games. They got the 4 seed, which is very impressive after the start they had. Saturday Crush fizzled a little bit at the end after losing Mike White. Mike White would have carried him through the playoffs. However, they chose to get rid of him. With the 11th pick of the draft, Steve Owazani takes Jake Lukacic from the Bandits. Rob Hess is now on the clock. Let's see exactly where we go with this pick.
3 minutes.
Rob Hess is up at the podium, and his selected Bobby Loftus Jr. That is going to see how that works out. We have two Saturday Crush members together, in Mark Bellis and Bobby Loftus Jr. Rob Hess is a decent hitter. So far, that team looks to be one of the better teams so far put together, as well as the Andy Peck team. I don't know so much about the Greg Chaya pick. The Kevin team is looking good as well. Right now, Kyle is at the podium with his next pick. With the 13th pick of the draft, Kyle selects Kenny Kandrak from the bases loaded team. Mike White is on the board with number 14. With the 14th pick of the 2013 fall ball draft, Mike White selected Timmy McGraw. To wrap around into the 3rd round in the 15th pick, Mike White selected Joey Dewar from the park. We'll see exactly where Kyle goes with his next pick. Kyle Fedor is on the clock, and he has exactly, I don't know how many minutes he has left because Matt, his timer is not available at the time. We'll say he has about 2 minutes to go to make a selection. That's definitely. So Kyle Fedor is winding his time down, letting it go down and down. We're down to 25 seconds. 25 seconds. He's still waiting. John Zielinski.
Rob, 3 minutes.
John Zielinski was picked 16th. There's now an argument between whether or not certain people are fun. Number one rule in this league is to have fun. However, it's very competitive. Rob Hess at the board.
Steve, 3 minutes.
Rob Hess takes Scott Stuckis, the co-owner, son of the chicken coop where we are having our draft at, giving them some nice business. We're still waiting to see where Ian Chandler is going to get drafted. Ian Chandler, we don't know when he's going to get drafted.
You have 2:45.
However, Steve Owazani is up. I would say he's going to take Mikey Holloway. However, he was at the playoff series and he watched Mikey Holloway not perform very well. So let's see where he goes, because it's not. Andy Peck will definitely take him. Andy Peck, I believe, will take Mike Holloway. Steve is looking to make his pick. He is at the podium as we speak. And we are awaiting the pick, and the commissioner has the pick in his hand. Looks like Eric Klepar. He is the teammate of Steve Owazani during the regular season. So far, the only team that has members that don't play together are the Mike White team and the Kevin Sickle team. Everyone else has taken somebody from their team or a team that they will play with during the regular season, which is what we try to stay away from in the fall ball. But some guys just like to keep their team together, try to be dominant, which is not exactly the number one rule. With the 19th pick of the 2013 draft, Nick Diaco goes to Greg Chaya. Andy Peck takes Derek Kirsch with the 20th pick of the draft. We're still waiting for Matt Morgan. I told him he was going to go 20th. However, we're going to surpass that mark. So let's see exactly where Mr. Matt Morgan goes. I don't see him going in the next round. And Kevin Sickle takes the prodigy Nick Harrison, the prodigy, as well as Matt Morgan going in the 4th round. Not exactly where he envisioned his draft night going. He was still sitting in the green room waiting to get picked, and luckily enough, it happened for him. Andy Peck takes Roger Sanson, a member of Bad Meets Evil. Not a bad pick here. However, there's still one name on the board that we're waiting to see who goes and where he goes. Greg Chaya on the clock. Are these young kids in the league? Oh, you guys are getting picked last. Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, Ian, you'll go, just not to our team. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. We have with the 3rd pick in the 4th round, Ian Chandler, an up-and-comer, 14-year-old sensation. No, 15-year-old. I'm sorry, I just 15-year-old. I apologize. Steve Owazani goes with Robert Bertoni, another Vipers player. What is going on here? Let's switch the teams up a little bit, people. This is embarrassing. Rob Hess, why don't you just take one of your team members too? One name, one name still on the board. One name, and one name only. Rob Helfrich. Don't know who Rob Helfrich is? Who is Rob Helfrich? Is he in the building tonight? Server's doing a great job.
Who's a goofball that's left?
Mike Holloway.
Probably all the young kids.
Yeah, Bob. You would love Bob.
Mike Holloway.
You would love Bob.
Kyle Fedor going with Bobby Bomboy, the guy I danced with at Kenny Kandrak's wedding. I won $10 off of Kevin Sickle. I danced with the man. He gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. We had a good time at the.
Is this the name you were waiting for?
Mike White selects Mikey Holloway Jr., one of the best players in the league, went last in the 4th round. Don't understand why, how that name was missed. Don't understand it. With the first pick of the 5th round, Bobby Ann Sweeney from PJ's Window meets up with his teammate Timmy McGraw on Mike White's team, as well as Tom Hannon, Joey Dewar, and Mikey Holloway. So far, that's a solid team with 4 pitchers, maybe 5, 6. Maybe the whole team could pitch. Mikey Holloway has shown ability to throw. Joey has shown ability to throw. Kyle's taken Holly Kane, the 2nd female, off the board. This draft is going by really fast. Rob Hess on the clock. Rob Hess with his pick. Jared Meehan. Don't know who that is. Steve Owazani on the clock. Well, it's Steve Owazani. Is there another Viper on the board? If there's another Viper, we might see one go off the board here because Steve only picks people he knows. Steve's afraid to play with other people.
I got 2 good players.
Why don't you just take Pat Muth? Maybe Sean Davis. Maybe he's a stud. Actually, you should take Greg Rooney.
My first.
Hess isn't going to like this one.
Steve Owazani
Taking the chance.
takes
Could easily be the steal.
Billy Ostrowski. I don't know who that is. I don't think anybody but a certain group knows who that is. We're down to oh, Matt, what is going on here? Okay, I'm sorry, fellas. The uh, the computer almost froze. Greg Chaya takes Dalton Shearer. Dalton Shearer looks pretty mad about that pick. He feels he should have went earlier in the draft. Um, Andy Peck is on the clock. This draft is going by really fast. Hopefully next Monday my fantasy football draft goes just as quick. I doubt it will because it's for bigger money than this league. Andy Peck is looking to make the monster team. Andy Peck should take Mike Sokolowski. Are you are you are you are you asking Ryan Hart who to pick? Picking Curtis. Curtis is not playing. Okay, so Andy Peck is still on the clock. He selected. Who did he select? Pat Muth. Not a bad selection here. Not a bad selection. Pat Muth showed great strides in the season. Kevin Sickle on the clock. Who's Kevin Sickle going to select here? Matt Morgan has stood up. Kevin Sickle contemplating like it's a math test. It's like a math test for Kevin Sickle right now, deciding who to take. And we're still waiting for our pizza and our wings. It's okay though because I wasn't really hungry when he started this draft. However, I am getting pretty frustrated with Kevin Sickle taking as long as he is. So I think Kevin's taking a female. Am I correct with this? Nope, he is taking Mike Sokolowski. Okay, well, guess what? There is nobody else that has played. Let's see which newbies get picked first. Kevin Sickle is back on the clock. Matthew, I hope the clock is running because this is going to take 3 minutes.
Can I
There have
trade
been
my next picks for picks in next year's draft?
no, there, there have been early rumblings of a possible trade between Rob Hess and Steve Owazani for a player currently on Steve's team for future draft picks from Rob Hess. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. Stay tuned. We'll see exactly the details of this draft. Will there be money? Will there be, you know, beer? Will there be anything included in this trade? Kevin Sickle finally makes the first selection in round 6 of the 2013 fall ball draft. He's taking Brett Rooney. He's a friend of Ian Chandler. That's all we know about him. He doesn't really. He looks like a basketball player over a baseball player. I could be wrong. Um, he may bolster the. He may bolster Kevin's team. Kevin's looking to have a lot of fun this fall. He has the prodigy, Nick Harrison, Andy Peck on the clock. Andy Peck's searching, doing some Google searching for these people, background checks, criminal checks. He's doing everything. He's doing everything possible to find the next best player. I think you should take. I think you should take Josh Sorber. Josh Sorber will be the best player on the board. Who will Andy Peck pick? Andy Peck has made a selection. He's going with Drew, Mr. Drew, Dr. Drew Slater. That's who he goes with. Dr. Drew Slater. He is now a member of Saturday Crush, the Brooklyn Nets hat. Make sure you wear black. Andy Peck likes to wear black, so make sure your team shirts are black. So Greg Chaya takes Joey Kozlowski. I have a feeling that Bob Loftus Sr. is not going to appreciate the team that he's on right now. I hope he likes to have a lot of fun because the only player that really plays in the league more than 1 year is Nick Diaco. Ian Chandler's a newcomer. Dalton Shearer, no idea. Joey Kozlowski, no idea. Jessica Sepe, no clue. So good luck and God bless. Steve Ozani Trade rumors. Trade rumors. Let's see if there's a trade. Let's see if there is a trade. No trade.
What?
No trade. Sean Davis. I thought there was going to be a trade.
They're still
They
talking
lied to
trade
me.
back there. I have a feeling it's going to happen. It needs to be approved.
Rob Hess is on the clock.
We'll talk at the end of the draft.
So the draft has to be put on hold till the end of the draft.
There's trade. Which is Tom Davis.
All right, we're waiting to see who's on the clock right now. Rob Hess is on the
3
clock.
minutes.
Rob Hess is on the clock.
Hey, we have our first trade here.
We have our first trade. Apparently, the trade was confirmed. I will let Kevin Sickle. Explain the trade details. So once we get the trade, we will go over the details. Rob has selected William Walker.
Okay, I'm ready to
So
first ever pick.
the commissioner.
BWBL
The
trade,
co-
not pick. Trade, rather.
no, it's not. It's not the first ever trade. The first trade was Mike White for pup chips and a beer. So let's get that clear.
Player to player.
This is the first fall ball trade during a draft. I will now let Kevin Sickle go over the trade details.
Okay, we're ready to announce the first ever trade in BWBL fall ball action. Steve Owazani has agreed to trade William Walker, a Miller Lite, and packets of ketchup to Rob Hess for Billy Ostrowski. That is the first trade of the draft.
All right.
Kyle Fedor selected
Hold on. Which one are you taking first?
Kyle Evans.
Mike's better name than Jason.
Mike White is rounding out his draft picks with
We'll just go
Mike
right
Williams,
across.
the USC version, and Jason Williams, the New Jersey Nets version, the one that committed murder. Um, let's see how the Williams go together. Williams and Williams. Sounds like a good team. So Kyle Fedor, rounding out his last pick of the draft,
There are like 5
is going with. Who is Kyle going with? Ben Williams,
Only because he
the,
wanted Williams.
the third Williams to go in a row.
Last pick.
The last pick
Mr. Insignificant.
of the
Look at it this way, James.
2013 BWBL Fall Ball Draft is Pat Myers. He is Mr. Insignificant, as they say in the NFL. Nobody cares who the last draft pick was because they usually never make the team.
None of them are very good.
No.
So we'll see how this Pat Myers turns out. Will he be good? He could be the second best player. Oh, maybe not. He could be the
They were the family jewels team at this point.
fifth best player on his team. So
But they were funny.
we shall see how this fall ball
They're good guys.
league develops into a tradition, maybe. Draft every year. Who knows? Right now, I am about to grade each team A through E and see if anybody disagrees or agrees with the teams. First, we're going to start with the team I feel is going to have the most fun, but yet be the worst team record-wise. And that team would be Kyle Fedor. On his team, he has Kenny Kandrak, a known funny guy, as well as Bob Bomboy.
So is Alan Grula.
Alan Grula, don't know too much about him. I just know that he put up the lights. Sources tell me that he is also a funny guy. Holly Kane, don't know her. Kyle Evans, don't know him, as well as Ben Williams. I'm going to give Kyle's team an E, but an A for fun, which is the number one rule in the league. So they will have the best time. Win or lose, they're going to just have a good time. Next up, after that, I'm going to go with Greg Chaya. his team has some promise, has some veteran players in the league. Bob Loftus Sr., Nick Diaco, and Ian Chandler, complete his freshman season. By this time of the year, he's no longer a freshman. He is a veteran player. Greg Chai, I don't know much about him. I know he plays hockey. Jessica Seppi is his girlfriend, I believe. Um, Dalton Shearer, don't know if he attended the draft, don't know who he is. And Joey Kozlowski. I'm going to give Greg's team a mixed grade. Uh, I could see them being a D team, maybe getting a win against Kyle's team. That might be the only win they get with Bob Loftus Sr. pitching. The next team that I believe will be Kevin Sickles' team. Kevin Sickle has Hank Hunsinger, an original BWBL player, yellow bat. He just recently finished a season, a championship season with the Young Birds at the SRL, defeating the Westside Washout, the number 12 team or 10 team in the nation, according to the NWLA. They also have Damian Williams, who is a very good player coming into his own. Nick Harrison, the prodigy, as well as Kevin Sickle. Matt Morgan throws probably the slowest curveball you've ever seen in the league. But he does have a nice drop. His bat is okay. He has like one home run on the year. Matt Sokolowski, don't know anything about him. Brett Rooney, don't know anything about him as well. I'm going to give Kevin's team a C plus, just based on one pitcher, Damian Williams and Matt Morgan. That depends on the game and who they play. I think they could beat Kyle and Greg's team, depending on pitching matchups. The next team, grade wise, I'm going to have to go with Rob Hess. Rob Hess is a decent player, first year as well. He has maybe 1A, 1B Mark Bellis on his team. Bobby Loftus Jr. has won the Cy Young in the past. Has struggled, though, with the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. We'll see if that comes into play in the fall. He is also a good hitter at times, as long as he keeps his head in the game. Mark Bellis, though, gets on base, runs around like crazy. Scott Stuckus, don't know much about him. Don't know if he can catch the ball, hit the ball. I know he played for Chicken Coop a couple times in the tournament. Rob Helfrich, have no idea. Jared Meehan as well. William Walker and Pat Myers. The next team is Steve Ozani's team. I'm going to give Rob's team a C plus as well. Maybe a B minus based on the three players they have, the top three. Steve Ozani is next on the list. He has Alex Fushilo, Jake Lukacic, Eric Kaplar, Robert Bertoni, Billy Ostrowski got traded, I believe, earlier in the draft, and Sean Davis. So I'm going to give Steve's team a B minus as well. He has two good pitchers in Alex and Jake. Steve can also throw when needed. We'll see how the pitching rules apply as far as innings pitched. From what I've been hearing is there's going to be an innings limit, 21, 25, something around that number. Jake Lukacic struggled in the championship series at throwing 60 miles an hour. He was clocked 61 numerous times. So we'll see if that comes into play during the fall. Alex, I believe, is going to be named the MVP of the postseason based on his series against the Vipers, Bad Meets Evil, and the Bandits. If it was just a championship series, Brandon Haight probably would have gotten it, but it's an overall award, not a single award. Next on the list is Andy Peck. Andy Peck has himself Steve Dotzel, Greg Moser, Derek Kirsch, Roger Sanson, Pat Muth, and Drew Slater. This team has a good mix of lefty and righty batters with power and for contact. The most notable power hitter is George Moser, followed by Roger Sanson. Steve Dotson will be their number one pitcher. Derek Kirsch probably their number two. Andy Peck doesn't really pitch. Pat Muth pitches a little. Roger doesn't pitch at all. I'm going to give their team an A. I think their team's an A as far as hitting, pitching. They'll be okay. The only problem is going to be which five they put in the field and if the innings limit will affect his team. But an A is the grade, and that is the grade I'm sticking with. The last team that is on the board is Mike White's team. Mike White has himself, Tom Hannon, Timmy McGraw, Joey Dewar, Mikey Holloway, Bobby Answeeney, Mike Williams, and Jason Williams. Don't know if the Williams brothers, if they're related or not. We're just going to pretend they're related for tonight. Um, Mike White selected the brothers, Tom Hannon and Mikey Holloway, after the issue they had in the season. We'll see if that plays a part during the fall. If it does not play a part, Mikey Holloway could have been drafted in the first 2 rounds. Don't know why he wasn't drafted in the first 2 rounds, but we'll see if he wants to prove himself as a top player in the league. Joey Dewar won the home run derby in the last tournament. Don't know too much about him. He has some abilities, hitting, pitching. Timmy McGraw, good pitcher, good hitter. Mike White, good hitter. We don't know about his pitching, if he's on, if he's not. Throwing the drop ball, throwing the whatever, making it rain. Bobby Answeeney, also another pitcher. Mike Williams, don't know. Jason Williams, don't know. I'm going to give this team, not just because I'm on it, but because I think top to bottom, this team is probably the team to beat during the fall. I'm going to give them an A minus or an A. What? I think A minus is worse than an A. No. Okay, we're not going A minus. We're going to go A plus, just because I have to go higher than Andy Peck. Not because we're rivals, but just because if you look at the lineup, I think our top six are better than their top six when everybody shows up.
So, Kyle, this is your first time being a captain in the BWBL. What was your strategy going into picking the players that you did?
Well, I want to be pretty serious about this, considering I'm a first-time captain. So I really am looking forward to proving myself and making this team a top-notch team. And we're really looking to shoot for the stars. For a little shout out to the team I'm part of in the regular leagues, shooting stars. So yeah, I'm just trying to A1.
So, who do you plan on being your ace pitcher going into this fall season?
Well, John Zelensky was a person I've been eyeballing him all season, and I just really wanted him on my team. So Zelensky, yeah, he's gonna be my ace pitcher, probably backed up by Alan Grula and maybe John Bomboy. I'll throw him in there on the mound. We'll see what happens.
So you have Bomboy and Kandrak on the same team. Were you aware that they played in the past together on their same team or no?
Oh, absolutely. That was part of my recruiting process. Also, was just scoping these guys out up in the crow's nest every week. I was up there, just checking them out. So yeah, I know they work well together on the same team, and that's why I wanted them on my team. Because again, shooting stars, man. We're aiming. We're going high on this one. I'm looking to take this league. Yeah, please keep going. I'll pull the audience if they have any questions.
So it seems like you had some good strategy going into this. Are you happy with the grade that your team got? E?
Okay, all right. Listen, haters are gonna hate, so I don't really care. Listen, we're a good solid team. We have some solid pitching, some solid fielding here. I'm really looking forward to this season and showing all these people wrong that we're not an E team. We are in fact an A team. I'll take any questions from the audience.
Kyle, who do you think is the best person on your team and why?
That's a very, very good question, David. I'm glad you asked that. Well, I have to say, considering my ego, I'm definitely the best person, and that is why I am captain. Okay, all these guys. I mean, they're maybe equally as good as me, but not quite as good. So I figured John Zelensky, whatever. I don't even know his last name. We'll put him on the mound, and we'll see what happens. Grill is going to be good. I'm really like a Ben Evans, even though he's a pretty well not known guy. Thank you for the question, Damien, and that concludes this interview. I think we're done. Yeah, we're done here.
This concludes the 2013 BWBL Fall Ball Draft. This is Tom Hannon, and I'm out.